For most architectural types, the rationality of function and the economy of structure are core elements that must be considered. However, the significance of some buildings has surpassed the basic needs of architecture, transcending the limitations of the economy and aiming to create powerful spiritual spaces. Memorial, museum architecture, and religious architecture. My profound love for architecture and space ignites whenever I enter these buildings. Today, we will explore space commemorative and narrative expressions through two typical memorial museums. The protagonists of today's story are two Holocaust memorial museums, the Berlin Holocaust Memorial and the Yad Vashem Holocaust History Museum in Jerusalem, Israel. Both buildings aim to expose and denounce the fascist atrocities of war and genocides, depicting the persecution, humiliation, displacement, and tragic experiences of the Jewish people through a wealth of artifacts, images, photographs, and models. The design of spatial sequences and narrative expressions is fully reflected. Yad Vashem Holocaust History Museum in Jerusalem. The Memorial Museum is in Jerusalem, Israel, designed by Safdie architects. It includes a visitor center, a newly built history museum, a hall of names, a Jewish synagogue, a gallery dedicated to the Holocaust, and a visual exhibition center. The Visitor Center is a podium-like building before the start of the tour, with four facades forming a square colonnade. The roof is composed of a grid structure that projects ever-changing patterns of shadows. The Visitor Center serves as the preface of the story, allowing visitors to take a break before officially entering the tour, before the lines that the light casts lead them forward. The History Museum consists of a nearly entirely underground triangular prism structure, 16.5 meter high and 183 meter long, inserting from north to south, cutting through Mount Adessavesh. Following the mountain's terrain, the ends of the museum's main body protrude from underground and hover in the air. With the museum entrance in the suspended part, it is connected to the visitor center by an elevated walkway, creating a ceremonial sense in the gate. After entering the main building, visitors must watch a Holocaust commemorative video in a triangular hall before proceeding with the tour. The core exhibition hall is the most crucial space in the Yad Vashem Holocaust History Museum. The exhibition hall is a long-lying triangular prism, 16.5 meter high with a thick concrete wall on both sides, devoid of decoration. The top of the exhibition hall converges into a sharp triangular skylight that breaks through the ground and allows a beam of sunlight to pass from one side of the exhibition hall to the other. To ensure smooth external circulation on both sides, two paths pass through the triangular skylight of the exhibition hall, creating a more immersive indoor experience. Another notable aspect is the arrangement of the circular sequence. During the visit, visitors first reach the lowest elevation point and then gradually ascend in a zigzag flow, symbolizing the Jewish people's historical ascent and liberation from persecution. At the same time, the zigzag flow is not limited to the interior of the exhibition hall. Still, it extends beyond the exhibition hall, constantly interweaving with the thematic exhibition halls on both sides of the main exhibition hall. The functional layout is also well integrated. The thematic exhibition halls on both sides represent textual materials, figures, images, etc. In contrast, the core exhibition hall is divided into multiple sections, each providing explanations and supplements for the content of the next exhibition hall in the sequence. The tour process constantly alternates between dark exhibition hall, bright exhibition hall, dark exhibition hall, bright exhibition hall to enhance the spatial effect. Each exhibition hall in the Memorial Museum has been meticulously designed, maintaining an overall dark spatial atmosphere while allowing natural light to enter through skylights. For example, the Children's Memorial Hall features a large, almost pitch-black exhibition hall with only a few dim spotlights flickering like candlelight in the darkness. Above the hall, every 20 seconds or so, a solemn voice calls out the name and nationality of a child who perished, reflecting on how much time it would take to cycle through the names of over 1 million children who lost their lives. In the vast darkness, the profound calls and the wounds caused by history deeply touch countless loved ones and provoke eternal contemplation for humanity. The faint light from the screen projects the faces of the children. The most important is the Hall of Names at the museum end. It is a 9-meter high structure in the shape of a cone, recording the names of all the victims of the Holocaust. The circular roof has a ring-shaped skylight at the edge, allowing sunlight to slowly and evenly illuminate all the words. The sunlight shines through the roof, illuminating the faces of these people and the exhibition hall floor as if comforting the souls of the departed and warning the living. Beneath the standing area is an entirely symmetrical inverted cone, and a tranquil pool of water lies at the bottom of the cone, reflecting the scene above. At the end, we're gazing into the distance and reconnecting with nature, which brings new hope. Two spaces anchored in the natural elements define the sequence's conclusion. The first one is located at the end of the prism-shaped central exhibition hall, where the enclosed prism suddenly cracks open to embrace the natural valleys of Jerusalem. It transitions from a suffocating atmosphere to a landscape filled with hopeful natural scenery. The Jewish Museum Berlin is situated at the intersection of Berlin's 5th Avenue and the 22nd Street and has become an iconic city landmark. To express their determination to never forget history, Germany also constructed a Holocaust memorial for the Jewish people. On December 15, 2005, the Jewish Museum Berlin was officially completed, designed by Daniel Libeskind. Suppose the Israel Museum in Jerusalem achieves spatial narration through a series of interconnected spaces in a central area. In that case, the Jewish Museum Berlin, on the other hand, follows a path of suffering, with thematic transformations. In each corner of each space, the intention is to emphasize the atrocities that once occurred, leaving behind scars. Daniel Libeskind designs the museum as a linear and narrow space. This is because the museum contains two interconnected veins related to ideas and organizational relationships. One is a linear vein filled with countless fragmented pieces, and the other is an infinitely continuous and twisting veins. Although both veins have limitations, they stretch infinitely in communication and form within the building. The museum's new building resembles lightning in its exterior shape, representing the tense periods the Jewish people experienced in German history. Libeskind refers to the connection points between these sharp lines as voids, which vertically traverse the entire building from top to bottom, similarly to what we call an atrium, symbolizing the collective absence of the Jewish people in German society. They can be seen only through windows, as people cannot physically go outside. In addition to its jagged form, the building's windows are another distinctive feature. Liebeskind abandoned conventional windows and cut numerous long strips on the facade, embedding them with glass to create windows. These striking lines juxtaposed against the galvanized steel exterior represent sharp wounds, revealing the suffering and massacres endured by the Jewish people. Based on a dispersed and independent approach, the museum's overall designs forms a series of discontinuous spaces. These two veins are the Jewish museum characteristics and reflect Liebeskind's unique viewpoint of binary opposition and contradiction. Following this approach, the circulation design also follows descending and ascending paths. The straight, virtual circular path intersects with a meandering, physical circular path at multiple points, creating several vital spaces. As visitors traverse the winding path, they continuously perceive the changes in the surrounding areas. The circulation path is divided into several parts, including the axis of the Holocaust, the axis of the exile, and the axis of continuity. At the end of the axis of exile is a floor-to-ceiling glass panel next to which a small door leads to an outdoor garden. In the garden, Liebeskind constructed a grid of 7x7 towering concrete columns. Seeds are discarded on top of these columns, and every spring, vegetation grows, bringing vitality to this cold and rigid concrete monument. Israeli sculptor Menachem Kadishman's artwork, Fallen Leaves, is displayed in the axis of continuity. Over 10,000 circular faces are cut out from thick iron plates, each with an open mouth. Visitors can walk on this path of fallen leaves, stepping on these faces evoking a heavy-hearted feeling. With their mouths wide open, they can only emit silent screams. Walking on this path, you experience firsthand the bloody journey of the Jewish people, stumbling and fleeing in panic. The continuation of the axis connects a large staircase that leads straight up to the third floor. The stairs are filled with intersecting vertical columns, marking the ascent exceptionally arduous, like needles prickling your back. Above the ground, the Jewish Museum Berlin also incorporates the design of a memorial park. However, instead of a vibrant grove of trees, it features a solemn square formed by dense concrete columns, remnants of a graveyard.